Hey, thanks for checking out my channel and clicking on my face. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of Argentina, 1985. This movie is available on Amazon, and it does not have audio description. I am a blind film critic, and I usually review films with audio description. This only has an English dubbing available for it, but I'm also kind of a little bit of an Oscar completionist when it comes to trying to figure out and watch films that are being nominated and are eligible for awards consideration and seem to be like it's shaping up. And Argentina 1985 has been nominated in both the international categories at the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice nominations. So there's a likelihood that it will also be nominated at the Oscars. It's a submission there, so I just wanted to see. I figured I would turn off if it was hard to follow, if I couldn't understand it. And actually, there's two sides to this coin. There's this side that I don't know what I missed. That's the problem with every time I watch a film and I try to talk about it and endorse it from a standpoint of watching it without audio description, is that I have no point of reference on many of the films, unless like the internet has just been telling me, like absolutely, this is what you missed. So I really have nothing to go off of. Like, it's basically, could I follow the film? The film opened up with a rather long, it took a while for the dialogue to get going, and it had me concerned. But I will say that once the dialogue gets going, it kind of is a dialogue heavy film. This is basically a legal drama. It's a real world, historical based legal drama about a prosecutor in Argentina who's been tasked with the job of prosecuting military generals for their treatment of civilians in the country, and just sort of like general war crimes. And of course, the whole thing that goes along with that. It feels a little bit like Trial of the Chicago 7 meets A Few Good Men. Maybe. I don't know. That would be the best comp that I could give you on that. But it's a good film. I liked it, and I was able to follow it. And actually, I hate to say that this is a film, because I think it's very important for people to understand that when we ask for audio description for foreign language titles, that it's different than asking for English dubbing. That those are two different things. Usually English dubbing is used to substitute out for people who are too lazy to read subtitles. And they need to be able to hear instead of read. And it's kind of just like an ableist thing. I mean, you need it kind of less than, having been cited, I know why dubbing exists. When you don't really want to watch subtitles, read subtitles. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose beyond that, except to open an audience up to people who don't like reading. So, but when you do that, you miss the original performance. You miss so much by doing the dubbing. And anyway, I read my movies. I'm a purist. I totally get this. Like, I understand the concept when these studios and streaming services and directors and everything don't want to offer these tracks. I get what they're saying, but audio description is different because it's for a community of people who literally cannot read your subtitles. I literally cannot. I would love to read the subtitles. Bring back my eyesight and I will read your fucking subtitles. But I cannot. So you need to give me audio description in general. And this is a problem that I've had with multiple films. It's a film I did a pretty long talk about that with Bardot, and why for some reason a film directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu has no alternative audio tracks other than the language in which it was created. So I don't know that they fully understand its accessibility, and not just somebody trying to like cheapen their product by making it easier. I'm sure these directors want people to not listen to a dubbed cast that they have no control over. Luckily, whoever made Argentina in 1985 didn't give a shit, and so I got to at least listen to it and follow along, and I thought the story was really compelling. I thought it was really good, and honestly, I hate to say it, but this is one of the films I could watch. And it has very little to do with, this is when you roll the dice. Every once in a while, you roll the dice, and you roll the dice on a film, and every once in a while, there's something that happens, and it's, I'm gonna say, yeah, if you want to watch it without audio description, this falls in like the 1% of films that is actually structured in a way in which you will probably be fine. I hate saying that because I know what it means. I know people are going to be like, wait, they can do it without audio description. It's like, I don't know that I can, because I don't know what I missed. That's the other caveat here. I don't know what I missed. So I don't know if I missed an entire other experience. But the reason I'm saying that you'll be fine if you're interested in the film, even though it doesn't have English audio description, is because of how the way the film is structured. It's structured as a legal drama in a way where they're constantly always talking about the evidence, the case. They're talking about the next thing they have to do. They're very open about what it is they're talking about, who they're talking about, where they need to go next, what the next thing is, the steps to the case, like the things that they need to accomplish, and like go there, interview this person, we need to get this person, and then they go and get that person, or they interview that person, or they're talking to this person, or they're like, oh, we need to hear from this person, so then they go and hear from that person. It's very just sort of, it tells you almost exactly what they're going to do right before they do it. So it's like you're always, I was never confused as to like who they're talking to. It's set in most of it's in a courtroom, so the person is usually called right before they go up to speak. So it's generally pretty obvious as to who's speaking and why and for what purpose. I actually thought the cast, the voice actors that did the dubbing, did a good job, which is rare, because usually you have people who act like they've never read anything before in their life, and I mean, like, they're reading for the first time, like they just learned speech 5 minutes ago, and somebody handed them a book, and now they're reading dialogue, and they're like, "Cars coming now, we must run." And you're like, what did you just say? I mean, like, I've heard some really bad dubbing, and I know why people try to avoid it. But when it's done with audio description, it's usually done in a way that it's well crafted. And some of the stuff, like All Quiet on the Western Front, was just brilliant. I mean, the dubbing that was done for that film, along with the marriage of the audio description, has led to what is still, and this is like, I'm above 240 films in 2002 as of me reviewing Argentina 1985. All Quiet on the Western Front is still my favorite film of the year. So a foreign language title that they allowed to put English audio description is my favorite film, and I've seen 240 plus titles released in 2022. So if you want to know the impact putting English audio description can have on a title, that's it, because I might very well be naming that my favorite title of the year. So for Netflix to resist putting it on Bardo blows my mind, because they have no idea the impact that it made for their other film. But yes, for this, it's kind of obvious. I will say that the way the dialogue is structured, it always tells you, and because it's a court case and they kind of just stay predominantly in a courtroom, this was really easy to follow. And it was really interesting too, because it's about a country's history that in a moment in time, I had no idea. I didn't know about this stuff. I felt refreshed from having learned something coming out of this film. So obviously it's a fictionalized account of a true story, but I mean, it's still based in something that I had no knowledge about. And if I hadn't watched it, I never would have known anything about this trial, these war crimes and what happened down in Argentina in the 80s. So, yeah, I would definitely actually, I'm gonna give this one a good grade. This is probably like the highest grade I've given to a film this year that didn't have audio description and is also a foreign language title. So I realize the whole complexities of what it is that I'm about to do, and I'm just trying to explain. Yeah, maybe there is an exception to the rule, but most films are not structured in a way where the dialogue is constantly explaining what the film is and what the film needs to do and what the film has to do and what they're going to do next and who they're interviewing. It's just that because this film has that sort of spotlight feel, where you're just it's sort of like an investigative thing mixed with a little bit of a trial where it's structured and people are constantly called up to the stand. Now, here's the thing. I had no idea what anybody was wearing, because they don't ever talk about their clothes. So I have no idea what that looked like. I have no idea what the set looked like. I have no idea what anybody's homes looked like. I had no idea what who was entering or exiting a room. I always only knew the main characters that were talking. There could have been 100 people in a room. There could have been 2 people in a room. I have no idea. So there's a whole bunch of caveats on top of that. But as far as just the general story, the structure, the writing, everything like that, I did enjoy the film. And I had a decent experience with it. There is that other percentage though of stuff that I'm not sure what it was, and I did miss out because it wasn't audio description. So I'd love to be able to just say and I feel like this is the kind of film that if there was audio description accompanying it that actually did fully shape and fill in the missing pieces, this is a film I could have given an A to. It falls a little bit short because there are a couple missing blocks. Like I said, first of all, the movie takes forever to get to dialogue. I mean, I turned that thing on and I don't know, 3-4 minutes of nothing, and I was like, is it playing? I was just like, I have faith. Somebody's gonna speak at some point. Somebody will say something. This is not a silent film. This cannot be a silent film. So, yeah, but kudos to the screenwriter here, because if they had not written and they had not structured the film this way, I would not have been able to make it through the film. It's over 2 hours, so you really have to be invested in the film in order to get through it. But it's very interesting. It's a very interesting story. I think also the fact that it is real and historical also ended up working in its favor for me, because I was sort of enamored a little bit with that aspect of feeling like I was learning something I didn't know before. So for those reasons, for many reasons, yeah, I'm scoring a film that has no audio description a little bit higher. And it would have been nice to have it. And if it's falling just a little bit short because I know I was missing at least some of the things. You know, I know I was missing some stuff. but I could follow the film. Congratulations on that. The bare minimum, I was able to follow the film. So yeah, I'm gonna give Argentina 1985 an A minus. I think it's a really strong film, and I have a feeling that if they had actually sprung for audio description, this would be maybe one of the best films of the year. I totally understand why it's being nominated. So, yes, I enjoyed it a lot. I wish it had audio description. I wish I could have come on here and sang the film's praises even more. I gave Drive My Car an A. It had audio description last year, and I gave All Quiet on the Western Front an A. It can make a huge difference, a world of difference. So please consider putting audio description on foreign language titles. It's not the same as doing dubbing. That's it for me. Please subscribe if you want to stay here and hear more from me and my reviews. And, eventually I will be completely free of my COVID symptoms and stop coughing in the middle of reviews. So I won't do that all the time. So subscribe. So I can keep talking about audio description. And I have a website, macthemovieguy.com. I have a Twitter at macthemovieguy. You can go to the Audio Description Project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who is narrating your favorite TV shows and movies. That's it for me today. I will review something else for you guys, and see you on the other side.